My name is Daniel Kwaku Bempah, and a first officer at Passionate. After my high school education, just a brief history about myself. After my high school education, I went to KNUST, where I did a Bachelor of Arts in Geography. From there, I had a chance to work as assistant meteorological officer at Kumasi Airport. I worked as an assistant air traffic controller with the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority at Kotoka International Airport. From there, just a brief history about myself. There, I traveled to South Africa to pursue my private and commercial pilot training. So those that want to be in the aviation industry, I would love to connect with you. After that, I had a chance to travel back home and then work with the Passion Air family as a first officer. Currently, I fly the Dash 8 Kill 300 and then the Dash 8 400. The Dash 8 400 is the the number one powered propeller aircraft that you can think of. And it was being produced or manufactured by the Bombardiers. Bombardier is a company in Canada. So those that want to research into it, you can feel free to do that. I would like to whet your appetite when it comes to the field of aviation. So I'll be going through some of the professions that we have in aviation. I'm sure most of you would love to join the aviation industry. It doesn't matter whether you are a science student, it doesn't matter whether you are an art student or a business student, you still have a place in the aviation industry. So if you are here and then you don't know after school where you have to go, what you have to do, I would like to share some of the professions that we have in the aviation industry. Maybe you are thinking of piloting. So piloting, I didn't do science, I did general arts. Geography, econs, government, and then history. That was my electives. And then university, I said I did geography, right? Yes, so you see I'm not in the science background. But when you enroll in the flight school, we have a period of roughly about 3 months that we go through. We call it ground school. So the ground school, what they will do is that they will take you through the basics of physics. So there, the instructor will take you through the physics, Newton's first law of motion, Newton's second law, the third law, how temperature and wind can affect flying, and then all these things will go through during the first 3 months. Okay, so now let's move forward. Some of the careers that we have in aviation industry, I want us to go through quickly. So the aviation industry refers not just to occupations directly involved with the aircraft, but to all the professions that make it possible for the air travel to remain pleasant, safe, and secure. So when we talk of aviation, most people know about the pilot and then the cabin crews. No, we have more professions into that. So we have the pilot, we have aerospace engineer, we have aircraft maintenance engineer, we have air cargo handler, we have air traffic controller, we have a flight dispatcher. Before a flight can move from one place to the other, the flight has to be dispatched by who we call a flight dispatcher. So we have people that are being well trained. What they do is that they calculate the performance of the aircraft. Every aircraft has a maximum number of passengers that it can take, a maximum number of weight that the aircraft is being manufactured to carry. So these dispatchers are those that work to make sure that the aircraft doesn't carry what it cannot carry, or it doesn't exceed its maximum takeoff weight. So that is the flight dispatcher. We'll go through that as we go through the presentation. We have a passenger service agent. So those that are good when it comes to communication or marketing. If you are here and you are able to communicate with people, or you are able to talk to people, you can consider a passenger service agent. Aircraft security personnel, airport managers, airline flight attendant, that is what I said, the cabin crews. And we have the people that work in the fire service or the airport fire service. So a pilot, as you know, a pilot is supposed to fly the aircraft. So that is just an easy one. So as a pilot, you are being trained to what? To fly the aircraft. Before you become a pilot, you have to be somebody who is very good when it comes to decision making. You shouldn't be somebody who is very timid, very shy, and then somebody who is not a team player. You have to be a team player. You have to make decisions very quickly. So also as the air traffic controller. So as a pilot, you have to be quick in making decisions. Let's say you have a few minutes to make decisions. Are you going? You are not going. What are you doing? You have to make your decisions as soon as possible. You have to be able to work confidently under pressure. And then also you have to be medically fit. I don't think you'll be happy to be in an aircraft whereby your pilot is having a heart attack or is having stroke. That means you are coming down. So as a pilot, you have to be medically fit. That is one thing about a pilot. And then as I said, to be a pilot, we have a lot of schools in the world. But where I went to South Africa. So I will recommend schools in South Africa for you. Why? Because schools in South Africa are very cheap. When you consider places like the Europe or the Americas, you should be budgeting roughly around $100,000 for a duration of 2 years, 24 months. But in South Africa, you can spend roughly about $60,000 to $50,000. That means half of it. So one of the barriers or one of the things that are preventing people is the school fees, as I said. So you can consider places like South Africa. It's much cheaper. And then the license that they will give you is worldly recognized. South Africa's civil aviation regulation, their licenses are very recognized all over the world. So that is what I will say about a pilot. Moving forward, we'll talk about aerospace engineering. Those here that are more interested in engineering, you can consider aerospace engineering in tech. So when you apply for KNUST forms, you can try aerospace engineering. And it's a very nice course, and then they are very, very well paid also. Don't forget that in aviation, every profession is really well paid. Aviation is a very lucrative area that you can look at. So as I said, an aerospace engineer, they are people who have knowledge in the design of aircraft and spacecraft. They study the science that underlies the behavior of vehicles within, outside of the Earth atmosphere. They develop cutting-edge technologies that aim to improve the efficiency, safety, security of space travel. Aerospace engineers are also involved in the design of high-speed ballistics, including rockets, missiles, that often find application in defense systems. So remember those that went to space. Their spacecraft was being manufactured by what? An aerospace engineer. So you can consider that also. Now we have the aircraft maintenance engineer. So we have two engineers. We have the aerospace engineer and then the aircraft maintenance engineer. The ones that we call aircraft fitter. So we have mechanics in cars. We also have mechanics in an aircraft. Before an aircraft can move from one place to the other, the maintenance guys have to make sure that the aircraft is what? Is airworthy or is fit to what? To fly. Them also, you have to be able to get your license, and then the licenses are not being acquired here in Ghana. You will have to travel outside. After you get your degrees and everything here, you have to travel outside and then go and get your license. So you can also look into that. Aircraft maintenance engineer. I don't want to read all because of our time. We have those that we call the air cargo handlers. You see, when you go to an airport or when you see videos, there are people that are packing your luggages into the aircraft and then what? Packing them out of the aircraft. They are the cargo handlers. It is also a very good job that you can also look at. It is just here in Ghana that we don't really respect their work. But when you move outside, it's a very, very big job that you can take of. Now, this is the job that I would say my number 2 preferred job, an air traffic controller. Most people in Ghana don't know this job. There is a job in aviation that we call an air traffic controller. And it is one of the best paid job in Ghana. If you take pilots, these are the second most well paid in the aviation industry. Now, when a plane is flying from one place to the other, there is this profession that we call the controllers that sit in the tower. When you go to an airport, there is this tall building at the airport, and then you see that there is this light around that building. That is where these guys are. They are called air traffic controllers. Now, what they do is that they communicate with the pilot. So you see that they will have a headset on. So they talk to the pilot that, let's say, Passion Air 142, or let's say, let me use Ghana or any Emirates or anything. They will try or they prevent aircraft from colliding with the other. So they will tell you, maybe Passion Air, you request to climb flight level 100 or 10,000 feet. And then Africa World Airline is also coming from Kumasi to Accra. And then you are moving from Accra to Kumasi. We are all flying the same route. There are about thousands of routes in the airspace. So if I'm going to Kumasi, I'm going to Takrady. Takrady is the one route that we are all flying. Kumasi is the one route. It's like the same way you are moving from Accra to Kumasi, that you pass through the Kumasi-Accra route. It's the same thing. Moving from Ghana to US, there is a route that you use. Ghana to London, anywhere. So the duty of the air traffic controller is to separate one aircraft from the other, to prevent what? Collision. So he will tell Passion Air that, Passion Air, you have to stop climb level 10,000 feet, due traffic. So you fly an even number. Then he will tell Africa World, who is coming from Kumasi to Accra, to also fly an odd number. So he will give Africa World, let's say 11,000 feet or 9,000 feet, just to prevent what? Collision. Let's say there are a lot of aircraft coming to land in Accra. And then I am flying Passion Air. You are flying Africa World, or you are flying Delta Airline. And we are all supposed to land in Accra at 10 a.m. Now, it's the duty of this guy to separate us. So now, I am flying the Dash 8400. Africa World is flying the Embraer 145, which is a jet engine. Let's say Emirates is flying the Airbus 380, which is high-performed aircraft. So he will give Emirates number 1 because of the performance of the aircraft, and then give Emirates a speed to fly. So you can say, Emirates, fly a maximum speed. Emirates can say, I can fly 300, 300 knots, 350 knots. Emirates will be number 1. Then he comes to the two of us, Africa World and Black Star and Passion Air. Africa World is flying also a jet engine. And then you can tell Africa World to also fly a speed of, let's say, 200. So he makes sure that he positions us behind one another. So there will be times that you are flying and then the plane has been flying for longer time. You should know that there is somebody controlling the pilot down there. You understand? So they are called pilots on the ground. So they control us. It's true that I am flying, but he is the one controlling me. He is telling me the speed that I should fly. You understand? It is one of the most lucrative jobs. Because of our time, we'll just rush into it. And then during the breakout session, we can talk much about it. We have the flight dispatcher. I talked about them. They work on your fueling, your baggages, and other things. They make sure that the aircraft is what? Is certified to fly. Before you move from Ghana to US, you need to have a landing permit. Now, when you are moving from Ghana to the US, you pass through a lot of countries. He has to make sure that you have clearance to pass through all the spaces that you are passing through, or the FIRs. If we call it flight information regions. So this is the guy who works on all these things. Passenger service agent. In case you go to the airport and you have a problem with an airline, you can speak to these people and they are ever ready to support you. Airport securities. We call them AFSEC. It is also a very good job that you can also think of. And then finally, airport manager. That one, when you become experienced in the aviation industry, then you can think of becoming an airport manager. Finally is the flight dispatcher. As I said, we call them cabin crews. Here is a male-dominated school, or it's a male school. We have cabin crews that are males. You can also consider becoming a cabin crew. So this is just a little bit of how the aviation industry is. I hope that during the breakout session, we'll have time to talk more. Thank you very much for your time.